Hello and welcome to another CrowdProperty.com funding opportunity, and today we're returning to Meadow on the Dunstable Road at Redbourn, St Albans, AL3 7PQ, and this is the Phase 2 raise. Now, CrowdProperty is a peer-to-peer lending platform designed to facilitate loans between private individuals and professional property businesses. CrowdProperty is authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority under permission number 723959. CrowdProperty is not covered by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. There are risks with any loans you make, and just like all peer-to-peer lending, your capital is at risk. CrowdProperty endeavours to protect all lenders. This is done by registering the legal first charge against the property project. This means that in the very unlikely event a borrower defaults on the loan, CrowdProperty will be able to take ownership of the project and manage it for the lenders. So let me then introduce you to the borrower on this particular project, Robert Dennis. He is Director of Acre Invest Limited, and welcome along to the webinar, Rob.
Yes, thank you for your invite. Thank you very much.
So start off by telling us a little bit more about your background.
Okay, I am the sole director of Acre Invest Limited, and cascading below that are several Acre Invest holding companies with various projects known as SPV, Special Purchase Vehicles, below that. This particular project is entitled Acre Invest St Albans Limited, and it's the sole proprietor and owner of Meadows. So it's ring-fenced as far as the bank is concerned, for security reasons. My background, property developer, past experience in the Far East in property developments and sales, primarily for the Chinese market. Came back from the Far East about 7 years ago and carried on property development, buying sites, buying predominantly land to develop with the potential to expand in the portfolio. So this is one of 3 projects that I've currently got on the go. A very large one, which I think will come to in a little while, in Luton, known as Acre Invest Luton Limited. 103 apartments, 62,000 square foot. Almost finished, sold half of the units, and then that enables me to bring the crowd over, the team, so to speak, from Luton over to Redbourn, which is probably, 5 miles, and carry them on with work that I've been doing for them successfully in Luton.
Now, your main contractor on this one is the Start Group, and Mark Brewster heads up that company. Tell us a little bit more about why you've chosen Mark to work with you.
History, really. I've done many projects with Mark, and he's certainly been pivotal in securing the right people for our site in Luton. It's not a small scheme, as you can imagine. 62,000 square foot is not a mean feat. We've been working on that for the last 18 months, 2 years, and he's proven himself very well. So I thought it was a natural transition to take him with me across to Meadows. We've grown to know each other very well over the years, and I like the way he works. I like his team. They turn up on time, they leave on time, and they hit budgets. So that's most important as far as I'm concerned.
Brilliant. So let's then talk about this project. It's the Phase 2, estimated 5 phases on this one. CrowdProperty has agreed to lend a facility of £2.96 million. That's to develop the site, which is in Redbourn. And this phase is going to be paying 8% interest rolled up. It's a development finance agreement, with the initial loan to value being 70%. A little bit more here about Meadows. It's situated about 5 miles northeast of Hemel Hempstead. Population locally of around about 6,500 people. Quite close to Harpenden as well. That station is about 2.3 miles away. 5 miles north of Luton Airport, so it's got quite good connections that way. Various local schools as well. And the planning permission has been granted by St Albans City and District Council. Their planning references are 5/2018/1334, and listed planning consent is 5/18/1374, where permission has been granted to restore and convert the existing barns to become 2 units, together with the construction in the grounds of a terrace of 3 new houses. We've got some stuff we'll show you a little bit later on this webinar. So 5 property dwellings in all, anticipated gross development value £5.3 million. The maximum loan term is 40 months from February 2020, and it's first charge secured in order to protect people investing in this project. And Rob is intending to sell the development afterwards. We've got some news on that in just a few moments. But here's a location plan for you. So the CrowdProperty flag on the left shows you where Redbourn is in relation to the M1 motorway and other nearby towns such as St Albans, just there. On the right hand side, that takes us into Redbourn itself, and it shows you where the property is in that particular location. So more about the location then, northeastern edge of Redbourn, predominantly residential there, lots of local schools nearby as well, close proximity to junction 9 of the M1 motorway, and also junction 8 is 2 miles south, that's if you go via Hemel Hempstead. Lots of various interests there, you know, the Age Hill Ford, which is Roman temples, there's churches there as well, and lots of ornamental lakes close by too. So this particular project then, Rob, proposed conversion of these barns, and tell us a little bit more about what you're wanting to do here.
Okay, so as you can see from the presentation there, we are committed to keeping the large barn. It was raised about 7 years ago by fire. It's got some history behind it, so we've taken probably about the last 5 months liaison with St Albans Planning Committee to get the thing right. They're very strict on what they allow us to do for obvious reasons due to the age of the building. So we've managed to employ the services of a special contractor to do the main barn. They've taken that to pieces piecemeal over the last 5 months when we bought the land through CrowdProperty. They've now come up with a proposal to redevelop the barn, which is satisfactory to the council. Incidentally, it may be worth noting there that particular barn has been sold. We managed to secure 1.5 million from a lady who lives very close to the village. She always wanted to buy a barn conversion, and in a gated community, as this is going to end up being. I have employed the services of Savills. They're a local, very well-known agent, and this is their market. They seem to feel that the middle terrace that we have there at 850 is slightly underpriced, so we may be discussing numbers on that next week. The other two, the end terraced 2,000 square foot units, are about the rightly priced for the area. And of course the small barn, which would be very suitable for somebody downsizing in that area that wants to move from a larger house down to a gated community up there. I have an interest, or Savills have an interest in one of the end of terrace barns, and they also have an interest in one of the small barns, So it's likely that we've got more than 50% of these sold before we even come out of the ground, so it's a very nice position for us to be in. Certainly having satisfied St Albans Planning Committee with the task of a listed building and the area that it's around being of historic nature.
Yeah, it's really good, isn't it, to have interest in the property as well. And of course that larger barn sold subject to contract. Obviously it's a great position to be in at this stage of the development. The total GDV, the gross development value, £5.3 million with vacant possession. But of course upon sale, as it says on the screen there, the project forecast to generate 1.6 million. That's very healthy, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a net figure as well. We've been quite keen with our construction costs, and we've broken it down into 3 separate contracts. We've used a specialist barn developer to do the oak barn, the large oak barn, a smaller outfit, a smaller barn, and a timber frame contractor for the 3 terraced houses. We're very familiar with timber framing because our Luton development, whilst its exterior is brick and render, it does have a timber frame construction, so it's something we're not foreign to. And as far as getting the units up and quickly put up and wind and watertight is paramount at this time of the year. So that's where we really pull Mark and his team really good at getting groundwork done, getting the timber framed up and finished in a timely manner.
I've got some photos here of the site. What's happening on these two?
Okay, now the site looks nothing like this now. That was last year, as you can see, because the sun's out. And that timber, that On the left there, the timbers are all the old timbers that weren't used on the site, and they've been piled up and disposed of. There's a few trees that have been kept. There's nothing, no preservation orders on the site at all, so they're just for the benefit of the gardens that will eventually be in the site. On the right-hand side, that's certainly gone. That's an old Dutch barn type affair, because prior to us taking the site, it had the history of a market garden, so it had a lot of greenhouses there and sold plants to local people. And I'll tell you, it did have a name of Scout Farm. That's changed now to Meadows, been accepted by the St Albans Council as the name has been used. And along with that, each house will have its own name, so there's no numbering. It's name. On the right there, you see in the rear, that was the raised barn. That's not there any longer. That's in somebody's lock-up, being numbered and put back together again to redevelop. And then on the left there, of course, that's the demolition company that do all the demolition work for us.
Now, the independent monitoring surveyor came to the site recently, didn't they? Just talk us through what they thought.
Yeah, they came this morning actually. They were quite impressed with the scope of work that we've managed to get done without any assistance from anybody else. As you can see, the site's completely different now. At the back there, those three trees, that's the tree line, and that's the boundary. So the outlook is very good, overlooking the fields there. By the look at that picture, that's probably where the three townhouses will go. Terraced houses will go. And on the right-hand side will be the small barn, and the left-hand side will be the large barn. And then we're toying with the idea of a little tree duck pond or something in the middle there, like a roundabout, to finish the development off. And behind us will be an automated gate operated by the five residents for safety and security. Not that it needs to be safe and secure in the area. As you can see, it's quite barren, but some people like the comfort if they leave their house and go for any time away, like to know that it's gated and secure. The timber frame has been taken away, as I say, so there's nothing to see really there other than just the bare earth ready for us to start. The foundations for the timber houses at the back there, and the foundations for the two barn conversions. Yeah,
and two great phrases they've put there: methodical approach to the development, and the overall programme seems realistic, which is quite reassuring, isn't it? So here's the architect's drawings of what you're wanting to build. This is the new build terrace, the front elevations there, and I've got quite a few props. I've got the floor plans to show you in a minute. These are the sort of architect drawings, sort of cut through section. Just talk us through what we're seeing here, Rob.
Yeah, they're the approved drawings now. As you can imagine, because it's rural, the council are very keen to keep a rural feel. So we've got some carports there that have got some oak pillars to give it the appearance that is required. We've managed to put some Velux windows in the front as well to not upset the council, so to speak. And yes, quite rightly so, meticulously, the council have taken forward to nearly 5 months to go through everything, our method statements, etc., and get comfortable with our architects and the method. They're more keen on the main bar for obvious reasons with its listed status, and very happy with the method statements that they proficient. I say proficient because that's all this guy does is open the building, and they're very happy with his method statements, and rubber stamped and approved the pre-planning conditions that came with it when we had planning permission last year. So we're all ready to go really. These are actual working drawings. Yeah, absolutely.
And here's some computer generated drawings as to how it's looking. That's the terraces on the left hand side at the front, isn't it? The right is barn A, looking at the south of that, so quite a good structural building. And then we then got barn B on the left hand side there, and then a bird's eye view on the right hand side. And then as well as that, we got some computer generated images of how it would look on the inside of barn A on the left hand side and barn B on the right. Quite stunning.
Yeah, we concentrate very much so on the interior lighting and decor. We've got very good tie-ups with Porcelain Loader, for example, very, very well-known Spanish outfit that will be supplying all the kitchens and the ceramic tiles and probably the wood flooring, because they're very good at that. So the finishes are going to be, there really will be a platinum finish, as you'd expect from a small gated community. Really, it's not something you're just going to finish as a one-bedroom apartment. Actually, probably in the centre of town. This is going to really go the extra mile. Obviously, the lady who's purchased barn A has a very big input into what we do here. And similarly, we've suggested to Savills that providing the people come to the table early enough, we can bespoke the interiors as to how they want them really, within the costs that we've allocated to each house. So it gives massive flexibility, and I think we wanted to set ourselves aside from just a normal housing developer and give people just that little bit extra choice in colours and styles, etc. Right down to the outside, considering including outside barbecue areas and hot tubs and things like that. So yeah, just got that extra mile really on the interiors and exterior finishes.
And you started the webinar by saying about other case studies that you've been working on. This is one of the ones at Pearman Court in Luton. Just explain briefly about this one.
Okay, so yeah, this has been my little baby for the last 2.5 years. Initially, I bought the site. It was a factory, and it had permission for 88 apartments. I thought that perhaps we could get another lift on the roof, and went back to planning with the Luton Council, which was agreed. So that put me back somewhat, but of course the GDV increased massively, so it was worth the delay. That's coming to completion now. We've sold probably 35% of those with reservations. Haven't got to market properly yet because it's still half the scaffolding there, so it looks a little bit like a building site. But yeah, we've got planning completion for that at the end of April. So as I say, as the trades finish on site there, we're hoping to shoehorn them in and move them over to Redbourn, because whilst in different counties, Redbourn and Harpenden border out there in Hertfordshire, and they border the Bedfordshire border. So there's a crossover of counties, so we're bringing people over from Luton to Redbourn, which is probably 5 miles away, and carry on using their services, because we're very pleased with what we've seen so far. And people we haven't been pleased with are no longer on site. So yeah, that's due to complete April of this year. Let me see the GBs. Yeah, they're accurate. Build costs certainly. Yeah, that's about where we are on this. The other, I think we've got on the other case study is where we're moving out. That's it. That's next door. So that goes to planning next week. That's hopefully going to give us 26 units with a GDV of 14.5 million. So we're sort of working our way up the street. As you see that CGI there, the right-hand brick building, that's finished now. So that's part of case study 1, and we'll move on to case study 2, which is keep expanding. So my feeling is we'll move from case study 1, Pearman Court Luton, over to Redbourn, use the trade there, get that finished, by which time the groundwork, etc., and the building's been demolished on case study 2, Oakley House, and we bring the staff back over. So we have a sort of a cycle of work for the next 3 years and keep people employed locally.
Well, you eat and breathe all this stuff. So let's have a look then at an overview of the project financials and this proposed loan. So this is the second phase of a 5-phase raise, which in total comes at £2.96 million. This second phase raise is for £450,000. RICS have verified the current market value to be £2 million. They've also verified the gross development value to be £5.3 million. The estimated conversion costs are £1,404,660. The initial drawdown £1.26 million, giving a loan to value of 70%. This is paying 8% per annum equivalent interest, and this is a maximum loan period of 40 months, with the loan targeted to start on the 20th of February 2020. It's secured, of course, with the first charge to help secure the interest of people investing in this project. 8% per annum paid, and the capital and remaining interest is then paid at the exit. The plan is that all of these are going to be sold. So thanks for explaining everything to us then about this second phase, Rob. For people watching the webinar, your next steps then please are to make sure that you understand this loan, and that you understand, you carry out your own due diligence both on the development and on the build team. And then it's important that you visit CrowdProperty.com to pledge on launch. Decide how much you would like to lend, and then people who are lending will have the necessary anti-money laundering checks carried out. And next you'll be invited then to send your funds to your very own online e-wallet, and you'll start earning interest on completion of the loan agreement. So thank you for watching this webinar. This is the second phase raise, which we're looking for £450,000 please, which is Meadow, Dunstable Road in Redbourn, AL3 7PQ. Thank you for watching this webinar. We look forward to you joining us again soon for another funding opportunity here at crowdproperty.com.